All right, awesome. Welcome, everybody. I see we got some people hopping on here. Thank you guys so much for joining us on this Momentum Tuesday. We'll give it a couple minutes just to let everybody roll on, and then we will get started. So excited to see a lot of you guys. We have a lot of great information to go through with you guys today. Some updates, some announcements, some great overviews, a little bit more in depth than we did last week with our convention and some of the things to expect and times for registration for the store. So excited to go through those with you guys today. And we have some phenomenal speakers that I'll get an intro here in just a sec after we get through some of the housekeeping items. So I'm going to go ahead and put up our slides here. It looks like we got a good amount of people that are on already, so we'll go ahead and roll into it. All right, we're going to start right from the beginning if I can get it into the right mode. All right, awesome. Well, thank you guys so much for being on with me today. So excited. We have a lot of great info, like I said, to cover with our Momentum Live, Momentum Tuesday, leading into the last week and the last push of our month. We have a lot of great stuff that you guys have at your fingertips to leverage for all of your consultants and leading into usually the biggest week of the month for the majority of you guys out there when people are really seeing what gap they have to close in terms of pushing for rank, but also what we have to utilize and leverage when it comes to everything that you guys have at your disposal to build with here. So those that don't know me, my name is Victor Tafoya. I'm the U.S. Sales Director here at LifeVantage. Really excited to be on the team. I think we're first month in, so training wheels are definitely off at this point. We're running. Just got done with a great event, a great two events actually this past weekend in Michigan. Got to meet so many incredible people out there. And just grateful to be such part of such an incredible community. Honestly, I met so many wonderful consultants. And just the culture here has been incredible to experience. So, proper disclosures just to kick things off, making sure that, again, any sales earnings disclosed are potential gross earnings and not net of other business expenses, not necessarily a representative of the actual income, if any, that a distributor can earn with or will earn through the LifeVantage sales compensation plan. Distributor earnings are fully dependent on your own individual diligence and your effort, and we don't guarantee any income or rank success. We also do have a great update leading into towards the end of this call that I'll actually bring our VP of Compliance on, Rena Schultz, to go through with your updated income disclosure statement that we're excited to cover. So, all right. So leading into, again, all roads, again, leading to convention. We have our Drive Era incentive, and this is going through the end of March. And those of you guys that are working towards Breakfast in Blue, again, previously was called Breakfast at Tiffany's, had to change marketing up a little bit. But how do you qualify for our Breakfast in Blue? And this is going to be an exclusive experience at convention when you guys are there and those that qualify. We are literally having breakfast at Tiffany's. And you get a phenomenal $1,000 gift card to go and spend at your guys' will and at your disposal within Tiffany's for a VIP exclusive shopping experience. But you're asking, how do I qualify? Two ways. So one is going to be any new executive rank through March. So January through March is the qualification time frame. So that's the first way. The second is going to be earning 25 Drive Era tracks, January through March. So either one of those ways will get you guys your ticket to Breakfast in Blue and the $1,000 gift card to go and spend at Tiffany's. Excited for you guys that are able to achieve that. It's going to be phenomenal. Again, incredible experience they've set up for us to go in and have breakfast, as well as the shopping experience is going to be next level. So those that don't quite hit that 25 track mark, and still we want to make sure that you guys are compensated, right? So earning 18 tracks or more, if you hit that benchmark, at convention, you're going to have a driver's lounge that you'll get to take advantage of. And this is going to be an exclusive experience for those that do qualify. So a place for you to go and kind of decompress from the day. We'll have this open during convention, so you can go in, charge your phone, get some snacks, connect with people like myself and others on the sales team from corporate, and just an all-around great experience to come in and kind of get some time to yourself during the craziness of what is convention, in those pockets that you do have time to take a break and kind of relax. So again, making sure that we have things right in front of you guys that are front and center in terms of what you have to leverage through the end of this month. So February track doubler. So this is for your enrollment tracks in Breakfast in Blue. You guys are going to have double the enrollment tracks when you guys earn those during the month of February. So make sure that you're taking advantage of that. If you're working towards this incentive, again, that's going to get you to double up your enrollment tracks for this month, leading into the last week. It's crucial right now, so make sure that you're leveraging this, telling your teams about it, and making a really big push. So we also have Alaska incentive trip. I'm so excited for those that qualify. From everything that I've heard about this incentive trip, it is going to be next level. I mean, if you guys just saw some of the pictures, the content that was posted on South Africa, and that that exact destination trip was absolutely unreal. The stories that I've heard, what they saw, I heard that they saw like a zebra give birth in the middle of the road. Just in crazy, crazy things that are once in a lifetime that you would never experience here at home. But really excited. I don't think they have zebras in Alaska. However, they do have some phenomenal fishing. I've heard the king crab are to die for out there. So make sure that you guys are working towards your spot on this incentive trip. And this is going to be our qualification that ends March 31st. So you have the rest of this month and all of March to make sure that you check all the boxes on qualifying and earning your way. And the markets that's available for is US, Mexico, Canada, and Europe. So what are those boxes that you guys have to check off in order to get your spot? 300 plus points that you need to earn to hit your qualification benchmark, but also maintaining a minimum rank of SC1 during our time frame of January through March, earning 3+ enrollment tracks, 3+ retained tracks, and then maintaining a paid rank of SC1. So making sure that you check all those boxes, and making sure that none of those stones go unturned leading into our last month of qualification next month, and making sure you guys have your spot with us. So this is kind of a calendar of events. What's upcoming? What can you guys expect in the coming months? So obviously we have our big global convention that's happening April 24th to the 26th. Directly following that, the day after it ends, is going to be our Growth Summit. Cannot wait to host you guys here in Utah and those that qualified for it. We also have our July 12th Activate virtual event. Uh, really excited for that. We have a lot of great stuff that's planned. Those that are in international markets, we have our incentive trip coming up for Vietnam, for those in Australia, New Zealand, Taiwan, Thailand, Philippines, and Singapore that are able to work towards that. I know there's a lot of incredible things I have planned for you guys in terms of experience, those listening in from international markets, or if you have international consultants that are in those markets working towards it. August 9th through the 16th is going to be our incentive trip dates for Alaska. And then Race into the Future, our Momentum Academy is going to be in Dallas, Texas, and that's going to be October 24th through the 25th. So if you guys need any information, want more of a breakdown of what's happening at Global Convention in Salt Lake, to get registered, also here's a QR code for you guys to scan. Make sure that you take advantage of that info, send it to your teams if they haven't got signed up yet. Definitely want to have as many of you guys here as possible to experience this with us. I've always seen leaders are born at events. There's so many people that I've witnessed and been part of working with those individuals that they leave convention with that momentum, and that fire that you guys get that you pick up from convention. And honestly, most of that comes with the community that you get to connect with. So many different leaders from around the world that are going to be there. Really excited for you guys to take all of that in. So want to give you kind of a rundown quickly of what that looks like day to day. So we're kicking off convention on the 23rd. So tours of headquarters is going to happen. Shopping and registration open that day. And then we also have a celebration for our Asia Pacific markets that are going to be in attendance. So Asia Pacific celebration is going to be at 7 p.m. that night. We have tours of headquarters starting at 11 a.m. going to 3 p.m. The executive shopping experience is going to be 1 to 2 p.m. And then registration in the store opens for everybody else at 2 p.m. to 6 p.m. Mountain Time. So going into Thursday, we have our exclusive Breakfast in Blue, and that's going to be from 8 a.m. to 10 a.m. We have a leadership meeting happening at 2 p.m. on Thursday. The welcome party, which again is Disco Speedway, That's your interpretation of whatever that looks like for you guys. I'm so excited to see the costumes and your guys' attire that you guys decide to go with for that welcome party. It's going to be a blast. But that's at 7 p.m. Store and registration is going to be open that day from 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. So leading into Friday, general session, 9 a.m. is when it kicks off. Legacy project at noon. General session starts at 2 p.m. We have our executive reception at 5 p.m. and the recognition gala, which is black tie attire, at 7 p.m. that night. And then that day, store and registration is going to be open 8 a.m. to 6 p.m. And rolling into our last day, Saturday, general session 3 kicks off bright and early at 9 a.m. General session 4 at 2 o'clock. We have individual team meetings that are happening usually after that. If you guys want to know what's going on, definitely reach out to your upline, or you can reach out to the sales team as we get closer to that, just to kind of fill you in on what's out there. And then that day on Saturday, our last day there, the store and registration is open from 7 a.m. to 3 p.m. Mountain. So excited. We have a ton of stuff planned for you guys. Cannot wait to be there with all of you in person. And make sure, as a final reminder, March is the final month for recognition at convention. So make sure that you guys are charging towards your next rank. If you're close, make sure you put your head down, leverage everything that's going on right now and all the tools at your fingertips to do so, and hit that next rank so that we can recognize you on stage at convention in April. So the activation tour is still happening. I actually just got back from Michigan. I was in Kalamazoo and had such a phenomenal time. Cannot wait. I'm actually going to be out in Montana this Saturday with Rob and Summer Schmalik and their incredible team that they have there. So if you want any information, we'll actually, in 2 slides, you guys will see the QR code, or just go to that big blue calendar and it'll have all of the dates, the details of where we're going, the host, and who's going to be attending from our side. So feel free to get in contact with us if you have any questions. So Growth Summit, make sure that you guys are working towards your qualifications for Growth Summit. So that is going to be January through June that you guys have to qualify. And then the actual Growth Summit dates for that event is going to be September 12th through the 14th. Really excited to be there with you guys. Cannot wait. Oh, give me one sec. Cannot wait to be there. So again, if you want information on the activation tour, this is exactly where you guys can find it. We're going to that big blue calendar and taking a look. So here is our hub spot information for all things mind body. So this is going to go into all of our information that we have, all of our resources, all of our content that we have to share, as well as the clinicals. So go on there, take a look, and make sure that you guys share the info. Here's a QR code that'll scan and just quickly drop you in there for all of your resources that you guys could want on the Mind Body Core and Enhance. All right, so I'm really excited to introduce our next speaker, and that is going to be Mrs. Rena Schultz, which is our VP of Compliance here at LifeVantage. And Rena, I am excited to have you on here because in my past, people from compliance weren't huge fans of getting in front of members. So I love that you love jumping on with consultants and giving us your information that you guys have on your side of updates and things that are really important. And I know that we have something really important that we wanted to share with them. So I will kick it over to you, and I'll actually go ahead and leave these slides up so that we can cover them.
Awesome. Thank you, Victor. I appreciate you. And so excited that you're with our team. Like this is great. Hello, everyone. Good morning, happy Tuesday, or good afternoon, depending on where you're at. So yeah, just some quick updates. I will be fast because I know you guys are really excited to see Miss Lacey today. So we have, as Victor mentioned earlier, we have launched the new and revamped income disclosure statement. And that was launched last week. If you can go to the next slide, Victor, for me. So you will notice that, and those of you who've already seen it, it is a little bit different. It is now a 2-page document. The second page is still, pretty much the same as you guys have been used to. There is some different wording. I just quickly wanted to, go over why we have updated this. So Obviously, the income disclosure statement is a great, or what we like to call the IDS, is a great tool. I know it's been used to be able to give, and I'll let Victor talk to this a little bit more, but we also, if when we use, the company is required to do certain things. Whenever we disclose financials on, different ranks and what they can expect to earn, we also want to be sure that we are including a few other things that, which is disclosed in this first page. Basically, the overall, how do I join LifeVantage? What's the difference between a consultant? What's the difference between a customer? And we also like to talk about, there are other expenses involved. This is actually a great tool because a lot of times you're introducing this to potential, consultants that are thinking about, joining your business, and it's good to show them, hey, here's everything that you need to know as you, decide to build your business. So hopefully this is a great tool for you guys. I think the key thing to remember is to always be sure when you are presenting the income side of it, the side that has that table with all the numbers, is to be sure that you are disclosing the full entire income summary. We also have created, we heard some great feedback, and sometimes it's hard, as you can see in that first slide that I was showing you guys, is it's hard to show the PDFs in presentations or opportunity meetings. So we have created some slides to help you guys so that it's a shareable PowerPoint and that it's easier to actually show in your meetings. Victor, did you want to talk a little bit about this? I know you have some more experience with this part.
Sure. Yeah, absolutely. We actually announced this and had it part of our presentation that we were going through this weekend in Michigan. And what I love is with our income disclosure statement, just like anything that we do here, and one of the pillars of kind of our ethics of what we're built around, which is financial transparency. And I think that goes, it's a dual-sided coin, and that's one on our side of the equation, but also what is happening on the consultant side. And I think this paints a really great picture of really allowing you guys to really see what's happening out there. But also, not just that, it allows you to kind of create some realistic expectations for yourself as you create a roadmap on really where am I getting started, but also where does my road take me, right? What is my end goal of what I'm trying to reach if I'm building a business, and maybe my benchmark for where I want to get with my income. Maybe I'm doing this full time and I'm jumping both feet in. Maybe I'm doing it part time. It really allows you to kind of gauge where do I want to land and what's realistic for me out there. And I love that transparency because I'm big on goal setting. And it's even better when you can set that around some concrete averages that people are really experiencing out there. It's not just saying, hey, we promise you're going to make money, so work hard. It's actually what's going on with our consultants. So I mean, even just using the average number of months to achieve the rank, right? And then using that as kind of the goalpost. Um, and obviously having the financial transparency of where that's really landed people on the average commission at the paid rank, median, lowest, but also the highest. So it kind of allows you to assess along the way how that's going for you, but also have kind of that final goalpost of where you're going. So that's one thing that I absolutely loved about it. One update that I actually loved as well is year over year, even on the top of this screen that you guys are seeing, in terms of the number of people that earn paychecks, it was about a 6,000 increase from year over year, people that were earning paychecks with us, which means, again, that's contributing to growth, right? You're seeing a lot of lift. A lot more people are getting checks in their pocket or in their mailbox and being able to capitalize on the incredible opportunity that we have here. So I also love seeing that. So those are a few things that I really enjoy about it and some of the things that we talked to our consultants this past weekend in Michigan about. Um, but I know you guys
Yes.
are always heavy on tools and providing those. So wanted to kind of shift things back to you as well on just where you
Yeah.
can find that info and the best place to download it.
No, well said. So again, you can find the income disclosure statement or the IDS at it is on the main website under resources, but you can also go to the hub, and it is in the hub. We also have we just launched a great newsletter that talks about the income disclosure statement, how to use it, and it is under the compliance section under training. So please, jump in, take a look. If you have questions, feel free to reach out to, anyone in sales. From a compliance standpoint, we're also happy to help support you. So compliance at lifevantage.com. And just be sure that when you do share the opportunity and you are talking about income, to include the link to the income disclosure statement. Um, we do several trainings, and just like Victor said, we love to actually interact with you guys, and we love to help support you. Without you guys, we wouldn't be here. So please don't hesitate to reach out. compliance@lifevantage.com. So thank you guys for your time. Thanks, Victor.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Rena. All right. And like Rena said, we have a phenomenal leader that's going to be on with us today. You see Miss Lacey Nelson hopping on the screen with us. Lacey, you have such an incredible story. And what was crazy to me is how small of a world it is. Like we had so many connections the first time that I called you that we had pieced together. And people that, again, in and out of this industry that we had both worked with, that we both knew in our lives. But I've said this before, and I will absolutely continue to say it again and again and again. People are really going to buy you before they ever buy an opportunity or a product. They're going to yoke themselves and hitch themselves to people that they can really see themselves succeeding with, right? And being able to learn from and excited to learn from. And I'm excited because a lot of what you focused on as you've gotten started here, being that we break these calls down into era, right? Enrollments, retainment, and advance. So being that this is kind of the conversation or the call topic of advance for the week, you've done a great job at the other two, which you can't have advancing without the other two enrolling and keeping those people around. Um, but you guys have had such quick, crazy momentum, but you've done it sustainably and you've done it the right way in terms of how you guys have gotten started and how you're continuing to move forward. So really grateful to have you on with us. So I wanted to give Lacey a quick intro. So she's been in this industry for 25 years in health and wellness, and it's honestly her love and passion. It's what she does. It's what she's phenomenal at. Um, but Lacey, she really found LifeVantage when she was struggling to find something that met her where she was at with her health. Desperately needed something, and she didn't really need to lose weight. But her health was really needing improvement in so many different ways, and she was struggling with things like supporting normal hormone regulation or food cravings, and so many areas that we know that our products really have a massive impact in. And all this was preventing her from doing the everyday things that she loves, which is hanging out with her family, being a mom, being a wife, being a friend, being a partner of the community, and when I say that things were not the greatest, I mean she was tired all the time, couldn't sleep past like 3 a.m. when she was waking up. So when I tell you she was in dire need, but also found exactly what she needed in her life with LifeVantage, it's been an incredible time to hear your story, but also just that impact that it's made with you and your family. So insert LifeVantage. You've gotten your health and your life back. You do have such a contagious energy. Like when it comes to just being so positive, so upbeat, focusing on the good, being able to pour back into your team. I know that it's made a world of difference for you. And one thing that you've said is it just feels so good to feel so good. That's a big deal. Like when things in your life feel good and your health is back, your mindset's there. I mean, the world is yours when it comes to you and your team. Like I cannot wait to see what you guys do here. So with that, I'll go ahead and kick things over to you, just to get started on really like when it comes to some of those behaviors, right, of advancing and your team just having those quick wins when they first got started. Um, what do you do in terms of just how do you live you talk the talk, but also you definitely walk the walk, right? So being able to live by example, and using these products to showcase that it really is a lifestyle for people when you do opt into using the products and incorporating these into your life. So what are some of the things that you do surrounding that to attract those people?
Okay, so just like Victor said, you guys, about 8 years ago, I lost 50 pounds and I've been able to keep it off for 8 years. And so when Courtney kept asking me, to like try these products, I was like, I don't have weight to lose. But she's like, Lacey, I know you're struggling with your hormones and sleep issues and energy issues and cravings and inflammation and pain and all these things. And I just kept saying, I don't believe in pills, Courtney. I don't believe in pills. I did not understand activation at all. And so, you guys, I told Courtney, I'm like, okay, I'll try the products. I have to believe in them before I can share because I never feel like a salesperson. I just feel like a share person because I want to share what I did to like fix all of my health issues. And so, anyways, the one of the main things I focus on is just being proof the products work. And being in this industry, I've been in the network marketing industry for 6 years before this. And so many times, so many of my customers and my consultants, they would have all this extra product. And I'm like, why? And they're like, well, I forget to use it. And I'm like, what? I'm like, you forget to use the product? Are you kidding me? I'm like, this is like the consistency in using the product is what's going to get you the results. And so I always say you've got to be proof the products work. And so that doesn't mean just like taking them. That's a huge part of it. But I'm like, when people tell me, Lacey, you didn't change anything. All you did was add these products in, and you didn't change anything. And I'm like, but I already eat very very healthy. I already prioritize my protein. I already prioritize like my fruits and vegetables, and I already prioritize getting like plenty of water in. So I have all these healthy habits, and so just adding in activation solved all my problems. But I'm like, start with the basics. I always say successful people just do the basics better. And so I'm like, it doesn't have to be complicated. Before LifeVantage and activation, the only other time I felt this good and had balanced hormones and slept like a baby and had energy through the roof and didn't have cravings that were out of control and didn't have pain in my body was when I was doing this insane gut protocol diet. It was insane, you guys. It was the hardest thing I've ever done, but I wanted to feel good. But I was taking 11 different pills and supplements, and I'm like, holy cow! I'm like, this is the easiest it's ever been to feel the best I've ever felt. And so, just the products, you've got to use them in order to like have them work. And too many times people are like, oh, I haven't opened the box or I haven't opened the package, and I'm like, what? I'm like, that's a huge part of it. So, being proof the product works and living that healthy lifestyle, there's no way around getting good nutrition in. And so, when people start like saying, oh, okay, when I always, if people say the products aren't working, I say, let me see what you're putting into your mouth. I'm like, those nibbles, bites, and tastes and licks. And if I always say, if you drink it, ink it. I'm like, let me see what you're putting in your mouth on paper. And I always go back to, okay, they're stopping at the fast food place and they're eating all this junk food and this processed crap and all these, you can, it's moderation in all things, but the majority of their nutrition was just not good at all. So I'm like, these products, they are miracles, but they're not miracles. And so just being proof the product works, living that healthy lifestyle. And that's a huge part because when you feel good on the inside, like you look good on the outside, but you have more energy and you have more confidence and you just have more conviction and just you have that mindset where this stuff works and you want to share.
Love that. So you mentioned a couple of like really crucial things, right? So consistency, again, that's going to be the hardest for people, just getting into the routine. And I love you said healthy habits, right? I love reading, love personal development. James Clear, Atomic Habits. Sure, you've read it, know about it. Just the 1% change over time, right? And the compound effect that happens when we start small and just start those small incremental healthy changes going in the right direction over the long haul, that's going to make such a massive difference. But again, it starts with how you feel, right? When you have that experience, you have that story, even yours, obviously, like that's incredible that you've gotten your life back with just the energy to do everything that you want. But so many people that I've already met here, even just this weekend in Michigan, that's such a big piece is like once you actually have that testimony and experience with the products, you want to go share this, right? It allows you to be really self-aware of, okay, who around me is saying these things that I could really help impact with these products and the solution that we have. And you can't help but go out and talk to people about it. So I absolutely love that. And talking about excitement. So when you get started, how did you capitalize on that excitement? After you found the solution, after you got started with, I saw Courtney in the comments breaking down some of the doing the basics better. Absolutely, couldn't agree more. But how did you capitalize on that excitement when you first got started?
Okay, so you said leaders are born at events, and that's one of my taglines that I always say all the time. I joined LifeVantage 2 days before Kansas City because I know that leaders are born at events. So if there's an event coming up, get your get your butt in that seat. You can't watch it from afar. You can't watch it on Zoom. I'm like, you have to be in the house, in that seat, experiencing the energy and like the conviction and the testimonies of people and just that fire and that passion. So I joined 2 days before Kansas City and I went there. And honestly, within like a couple days, I was already, honestly, with the first day, I'm a recovering food addict and binge eater. And people are always so surprised when they see that, when they hear that from me, because I've only been overweight one time in my life, but that's because I exercise like a crazy person 3 or 4 hours a day to keep it off. And so I noticed like the cravings were gone. I'm like, the food noise was gone. I'm like, this stuff literally has like saved every binge eater, food addict, emotional eater's life. And so by like day one, I was experiencing like, holy smokes, like these products are awesome. By like day like 3, I was sleeping through the night. And if you have ever struggled with sleeping, not being able to sleep is a form of torture. And so I went to this event and I saw all of these people who have been using the products, you know, and hearing all these stories. And I already had my own conviction, my own story, and my own belief in it. And so when I left that event, I was like, I am going to invite every single person I know because there are so many health issues that people are struggling with. And I like left Kansas City and I probably sent out probably 300 invites to people that know, like, and trust me already. I've been in this industry for 25 years, like I said. So people already know, like, Lacey's the weight loss girl. Lacey's like the nutrition girl. Lacey's the girl who's struggled with health, you know, being overweight her whole life. And I very openly talk about it. And that's why people talk to me about their problems. And so I literally just sent out an invite to 300 people just saying, hey, I've found this product. It is truly changing and it has changed my life. Would you like to know more? And I always just leave it at that. And then I show up on social media is my storefront. So I show up on social media literally every single day besides Sunday. And I am inviting people to like learn more about what I'm doing. I'm talking about how it's changed my life. I'm just, when I share my experiences, your personal experiences, people relate to like the stories, like facts tell, stories sell. So I'm always talking in stories about how I used to have sweet teeth. Like I would actually even dream about sweets. So I couldn't even get around like away from like my cravings in my sleep. And so I talk about that too. And people relate. They're like, oh my gosh, me too. And so all these people come to me because I'm constantly inviting. Like I I'm not a huge influencer. I don't have like a very big following. So people aren't like flocking to me. But I know like a lot of people, and I'm just like, hey, I have something, like I truly believe that I have a gift to share with the world. And so I'm not going to wait for you to come to me. I'm going to come to you and just say, hey, would you like to learn more? No sweat off my back if they don't want to learn more, but everyone's always watching. And if you see my posts, there's not tons of comments, there's not tons of likes, but people are reaching out constantly because I'm showing up with my storefront. It's open every single day. Like, and I say this to my team all the time. I'm like, in this business, sometimes you are going to full on sprint. Sometimes you're just going to run. Sometimes you're going to walk. Sometimes you're going to crawl. But I'm like, I never stop because in the beginning, it's like when you're pumping a well of water. Like you have to pump that well and you don't get any water for a long time. And so you have to be consistent, you know, and like it's the law of the harvest, you know, planting those seeds. Also, like when you plant those seeds, they're in the ground, and I'm a farmer's daughter, so I know this. And they're in the ground for a long time. And you have to like faithfully water them and change the sprinklers and, you know, like tend to the soil and all that kind of stuff. And you're like, I hope that seed's going to sprout. And it does, it sprouts. But you have to put in so much work before you see it. And so I just know, because I also, Victor, I worked at the corporate office of my last company for 3 years before I even became like a consultant. And so for 3 years, I just saw there is nothing special about anyone that has success. They just like put their heads down and they went to work. And so, like I said, I pumped that well for so long, and then I got the water flowing, but I'm like, I do not want to let that water ever dry up. So I'm like, it might be just kind of like dripping sometimes. It might be like pouring. It might be full on just like gushing like a fire hose. But I'm like, I don't want to ever let it stop, because just getting it pumping again, I was like, no way. And so, yeah, so I'm just inviting people. My social media, like Courtney was telling me the other day, because I joined in October and I literally have gotten so deathly sick 2 times. I've never been sick for like years. And I'm like, what the heck? And Courtney's like, no one would have ever even known that you were sick. And I was like, I know. Cause I'm just like, I could make a post from bed when I was like having this massive headache. And I think I got COVID again or whatever. But she's like, no one would have ever even known. I'm like, I know, because I'm like, I can take 5 seconds to open up my social media storefront. I'm not doing a ton of other work, but I'm like, I'm just doing the bare basics, when I was like sick. And so
Love
yes,
that.
huge on inviting.
Love that consistency. Like we could do a literal whole call on the law of the harvest. I love that you brought that up because there's so many parallels in leadership, right, that tie into every single piece of that process. But planting the seeds, right? And again, making sure that you're diligent and faithful of going through inviting, but also the follow-up, like going back to those people after you've sent the information to them, not being afraid to approach those people after you've gotten them information that think really could impact them or their family's health. So what are maybe one or two things that you do in terms of how do you maximize your follow-up with people to try and
Okay.
get people started?
Because you guys, it is the key is in the follow-up. So up until this year, I've always just been a pen and paper girl. That was it. I had no systems in place. And so I was just literally pen and paper. And whenever I follow up with someone, I never think that I'm bugging them. I just know that people are so busy and crazy. And it goes back to the story where I had a friend who created a company, created a product, and he's like, Lacey, if you buy this product, I'll reimburse you. And I was like, oh, perfect, because it was the product that I wanted. You guys, I wanted this product so bad. Like I had a need for it. I wanted it. It was awesome. I was gonna get it for free. He had to follow up with me 8 different times because I'm a busy mom. I get interrupted 24/7. It's on my forever long to-do list. And I was so thankful that he kept following up with me. And so that was a huge like wake up call to me where I'm like, okay, these people like really want what I have. They're just so busy and they're so crazy. So before it was just I would follow up pen and paper, but now I have a system with automation where they're like, yes, I want for information. And I have a sequence of like 15 different emails that like my email is like a follow-up. Like I'm first off, they're constantly watching my stories. They're constantly watching, like seeing my posts. And then my email automation system, it's like following up like 15 different times without me actually having to like go in there and do it. So but before then, that was like I've had success for like all my entire life in this industry. And so it was always pen and paper before, but now I've gotten so big that it's automation now. But before it was like pen and paper, and I just have you had a chance if you can get them to tell you when they're going to watch something or do something, then they're more likely to do it. So I just say, when do you have time to like read over this article or watch this video? Da, da. And then they'll tell me, but like, and I'll be like, oh, perfect. Okay, I'll follow up with you the next day. So I get them to tell me when they're going to. But yeah, with my automation system, it was now it's just kind of like does it by itself.
That's awesome. Game changer. I love how you also mentioned like it was pen and paper literally up until just recently when you guys blew up and you got too big to handle it pen to paper and onesies, twosies.
Yes.
And again, I think that's the evolution of leadership, right? As you grow, as you continue to build a business and it gets to that size. But I love that you emphasize like just figure out a way to track your people, right? And those conversations and meeting people where they're at, but just following up and being diligent in the process. That's where the magic happens, honestly. And to your point of like, it took 7 times for you to just download something that was free that you wanted. Those 7 to 9 touches that will say like the exposures that you have with people, it's gonna usually take that long for them to respond, right? And actually be receptive to hearing what you have to say or getting whatever product or solution that it is they know they probably need. But life gets in the way and it gets busy and crazy with family and kids. But actually having them take a look. So making sure you're diligent with it. Love that. Um, Obviously, big proponent of personal development, self-development. A lot of that when you're in this industry, when you're trying to build a business in general, right? In and out of this industry, that's a huge piece of mentally being where you need to be. To meet your people where they're at, but also just walking through that season of building a business. It's taxing, right? In so many different areas, but being as mentally prepared as you can is going to be a huge piece of making sure that you stay the course, so that you can reap your rewards of it. So, what are maybe 1 to 2 things that you do for personal development that you really love that kind of keep you in that steady space of where you need to be when you're building your business here?
You guys, whenever my consultants are struggling, I always say, what are you doing for personal development? And most of the time it's nothing. And I'm like, oh man, I'm like, your mind is the biggest asset or the biggest liability. So I'm like, you've got to be working on your mind every single day. Like I always say, your mind is just like working on your mindset is as important as working on like your health and fitness. Cause I've been big time in the fitness industry for so long. And I'm like, your mindset is literally like a muscle. And I'm like, you've got to work on it every single day. So I listen to a lot of personal development. I write out like my goals every single day. I have like little sticky notes of things that I like repeat. And Ashley Laughlin, she did a really big, huge call for us on mindset. And she's like, every morning I wake up with like this delusional mindset that so many people are going to join me because I have what they want. And she said the word delusional. And I'm like, it's true. I'm like, you have to have like that delusional mindset where when you're an entrepreneur, like you can get it's that roller coaster of like highs and lows and highs and lows. And I'm like, if you can kind of get it to be like less high and less low, like more like even tone, I'm like, that's where you're gonna find like the joy and the happiness. Because if you have these big, huge like roller coasters of emotions, I'm like, oh, if people don't join me, no sweat off my back. I'm just like someone else. Every single no I get is closer to a yes. And I just had to work on my mindset to change that because that's so huge. And I always say, I'm like, personal development is one of the most vital behaviors you need to be doing every single day. And I listen to good books, like I said, and I actually have my vision. This is what gets me out of bed in the morning. Is I have my vision as a voice memo on my phone, and I just have my AirPods right next to me. My alarm goes off. Now I have to set my alarm, and I'm so thankful because not being able to sleep is terrible. But when my alarm goes off, my AirPods go into my ears, and I'm listening to my vision. And I wrote up my vision in all aspects of my life, like work, health, a marriage, family, just all the things, finances. And I wrote up my vision and then I recorded it in like the most energetic voice. And I was like loud and energetic. And so, at like 5 o'clock in the morning when you're just like, you don't want to wake up. When I hear my voice, I'm like, okay, it's go time. And I have this delusional mindset and I like repeat every single day. I'm so happy and grateful now that I'm attracting an abundance of customers and consultants to LifeVantage because activation is life-changing for everyone. And I truly believe that like we have something for everyone, young, old, fit, not fit, male, female, like our products, they apply to everyone. In my last industry, I felt like it was just so much more like to women and just like, like maybe like 20 to like 40. And that was like kind of like my only like range. I'm like, here, I'm like, I literally have a girl who's 18 and a woman who is 81 on the products. And like I'm like an abundance of customers and consultants because activation is life changing for everyone. And just the stories that I've heard, the stories that I've experienced. And so I'm like, everyone needs to hear what I have to say. And so that delusional mindset is huge. And vision, like you've got to have your vision board and like you have to like feel like about how it's going to be when you reach the success or when you have this and feeling is huge. And Ashley Laughlin, she talked about how she's like, your thoughts affect your feelings affect your actions, and your actions affect your results. So I'm like, got this delusional mindset that I'm like going to change the world with activation because it's changed my life. And so huge, huge, huge component of personal development every single day because that mindset is your biggest asset, your biggest liability.
Love that. And no doubt, I guarantee you guys are. You already have. So just know that. But I can't wait to see how much better it gets over the next 3, 6, 12 months as you guys continue to explode. Thank you so much for hopping on. Like, this has been awesome. Such great gems in here if you guys were taking notes. Catch the replay. We're going to have this on our consultant or our consultant page that you guys will be able to go and find it on. But just to wrap things up, attracting those so that you're living your talk, right? Talking the talk, walking the walk, but also doing so where you're attracting the right people and they see you doing the actions that you're talking about, and being a product of the product. Capitalizing on excitement, not being afraid to invite, definitely capitalizing on events in your area, big events like convention, working towards getting to some of these growth summits, and what we have for incentive trips and just being more part of the community, because there's such a phenomenal community to connect with here. Making sure that you're following up, setting a system for yourself to do so, and then mindset, making sure that you guys are dialed in, having your vision. Definitely 100% agree with what you said. I think you said Ashley had mentioned it in terms of what impacts your thoughts, impacts your actions, impacts what you guys actually get for results. Law of attraction, right? Actually, that subconscious programming that we put in front of ourselves I guess just make sure that we're working in the right vein and staying there, and whatever that takes for you guys. So thank you so much for hopping on. We probably went a little over, but honestly, I loved it because we had such good information that you were able to touch on and share. So thanks again for doing this with us, and we will see you guys next Tuesday on our next Momentum Live. So thank you guys. See
Bye,
ya.
guys. Thank you. Bye.